This is a pick a card 7 chakra balancing spread. We have the rose quartz, the clear quartz, and the onyx to choose from. 1, 2, and 3. The timestamps as well as crystals and numbers will be listed in the description box below. I've actually prayed and shuffled and already dealt the cards, so let's get started with the rose quartz. All right, so for the root chakra, we have what possibly could be the positives or the blockages within the chakra. Here, we have the 10 of discs, the 10 of rods, and the Fool card. So the 10 of rods is the 10 of wands in the traditional tarot. The 10 of discs is 10 of pentacles. So it does look like there is actually some balance within this chakra that recently has occurred. The 10 of discs in this particular deck, does actually speak of our lineage and heritage, as well as bloodlines. It talks about tradition, and so there may have been some recent things that you have healed if you chose this deck or this pack. They show this as the card that has not only lineage but legacy. The 10 of rods with 2 10s here, it does show that there's something been recently in the past that you may have let go of, that has helped you kind of have a new start, have balance within this root chakra, which it has the red here, which I kind of like that that's shown up and depicted in the card. The Fool card is about new beginnings. It does look like you might have had some difficulty with feeling like you had maybe some stuck energy or burdens that you carried in the past. But again, I'm seeing that is something that has recently been healed and let go of. So that's great. So let's look at the sacral chakra. So we have the 8 of Cups, the Empress, and the 4 of Discs. So there may be some balance within the sexuality part of the sacral chakra. That does look like the Empress. I apologize. The balance within the creativity of the sacral aspect of the sacral chakra. So the Empress does show a creative aspect with the 8 of Cups and the 4 of Discs. And I'm seeing that this may have to do with some difficulty regarding holding on to fear of maybe not having enough connection within your life or having enough connection within the past. There's still some fear that needs to be healed regarding connecting to others. And this can be in a sexual way or an emotional way. I also see that there's still some issues regarding guilt that you may be trying to walk away from. This also looks like it may be issues with self-image. They may still be dealing with feeling worthy, either physically or emotionally. Let's look at the advice card for these two. Not the advice card, the advice card for these two. For the root chakra, we have reflection. So this kind of goes along with what I was saying of really, you've really let go of some things in the past that have healed, maybe in the recent past that have healed this and balanced some of these root chakra issues. This reflection card tells me that you have some stability with this 4. The number 4 is about stability, and it's saying to kind of keep an eye on this past hurt, this past kind of burdens that you've let go, and allow yourself to understand, really to fully grasp the reasons why you had those issues or those fears that you might have had in the past, to continue to reflect on that and to look at this that will help you to decide this new start of where you're headed with this Fool card. So for the sacral chakra, we have achievement, 42. So this goes along with what I was saying earlier about being maybe still having some self-image issues or self-image self-image or self-worth that need to be healed. Now, this actually depicts 2 different partners that this person has, and they are all happy and joyful in this arrangement. But I think that's interesting that there may be some issues regarding fulfillment or regarding your own self-image, and you could have multiple people or multiple partners that are, that are actually fond of you, looking towards you, and you may not be able to actually feel the full connection of others yet, and still be healing some of these issues that would allow you to actually see that or to feel that joy or that connection in a more fulfilling way. So it's not that you don't, obviously that you're not, it's not that you, it's more of that, it's definitely showing me that this is more of a self-image, that you have a reflection of yourself that isn't what other people are seeing, or that isn't of reality, that you're still trying to work with. This may be, issues from childhood with this Empress card. Kind of here, it may be something that's gone back, that you may have had woundings that you still need to heal and deal with and have come to the surface, especially with this Moon card in the background here. Let those things come to the surface to be healed, that you might have held on to for this 4 of Pentacles for a long period of time. I'm also seeing for the first time in this deck, and I've had this deck, this is my very first deck that I've ever used. So I've had this deck for a long, long time, but for the first time I'm seeing this little glimmer here. So I believe that you have guidance that's helping you. I think that's interesting. That kind of makes me reflect back on these cards, because I've never seen that aspect of them. But I'm seeing that glimmer as you having guidance, you have some help there telling you and letting you to see that you are worthy, showing you are worthy. You may have some situations in your life where multiple people maybe are trying to speak with you or showing their interest in you, and that might be happening in your life, or may come into your life to show you and to help you heal these wounds that you do, have the ability to look at yourself in a more positive light. So let's go on to the solar plexus. We have the 7 of Rods and the 5 of Cups. So the solar plexus is really a lot about power of self. So it does look like that, although in the past you may have had some issues with feeling like you maybe were a victim to circumstances. The Seven of Rods is showing me that you are showing your social self, your social power, your influence in the world, and your victory over things. You may still have some of those regrets to let go of. There may be still some, I don't want to say, I guess, sadness to let go of regarding situations that have occurred in the past, or regarding even, if you believe in like the past life type of situations. It does look like you are working through these, though, with this Seven of Rods here, or Seven of Wands. Protection. So this card, and I think it's interesting that this is kind of balancing out. This is the 7 and the 5 and the 2, 20 reduced down to 2 as well. Reduced to, if you take the 2 and the 7, it reduces, or 2 and the 5, it reduces to 7 as well. Protection, I see that you have learned from these situations. You're moving forward in the situations that may have caused these issues. Whenever we kind of look at ourselves from within, what reflects out, what we're seeing from the external is really what's reflecting out from within. And so I see that as you're working through these, you're going to have the protection within that natural universal law, that you're not going to pull in these experiences that you've had with this sadness in the past again. Let's go on to the heart. So we have the Wheel and the King of Rods. So the heart chakra is about compassion, love, integrity. The King of Rods really does show that. It also, the Wheel of Fortune is what I'm seeing here. There may be some issues still regarding the fear of commitment. This wheel definitely shows the yin-yang aspect of things, as well as the aspect of really having your mental thoughts create your reality in a lot of ways. So these I see as the thoughts where we really kind of manifest our own reality. And there may be still some difficulty with that part of clearing the heart chakra and having hope for the future, and letting go of the fear of being guarded, or of commitment, or maybe even of expressing some mental anguish or anger. And we have fulfillment. So you are on the way. These are both positive cards as far as whether the heart chakra is balanced. And this, especially with this green coming here, I do see that you are on the way. And the 6 is about balance as well, to definitely coming into your own within the heart chakra, and feeling that hope and that love and that compassion on a daily basis, and remembering to go in within your own heart. With all situations. So we have the Ace of Shells and the 6 of Cups for the throat. The 6 shows a balanced number. The Ace of Shells as well shows that you are, I'm seeing this 2 different ways. I'm seeing most of you are actually pretty balanced within your throat chakra. You're able to express yourself. You have balance regarding speaking your truth, needing situations in your life to be balanced and have an equal give and take. There may be a few of you who mostly have their throat chakra balanced, however, are still having difficulties expressing love. And that would kind of go back to this Wheel of Fortune. For most people, I see that this is kind of the positive enlightenment of being able to balance the yin and yang, but some of those some of you are still working on that, and coming into alignment with that. And then we have innocence. So that's showing me that you are still, or you're coming into the idea of and realizing that as long as you're speaking your truth, you are innocent in what you're saying. You are speaking from a place of love with this Ace of Cups or Ace of Shells, speaking from a place of really understanding what you need and where you are, is very innocent, and it's not something that you should be holding back from, or have fear of speaking due to upsetting other people. It looks like you have gotten through any blockages that may have been there in the past or may have occurred in the past. So the third eye, we have the King of Feathers, which is interesting because this is the King of Wands in this deck, and we have the King of Wands here as well in the heart chakra. So the third eye is all about intuition, perception. It does look like you are, let's get a clarifying card here. It does look like you're moving towards finding that within yourself, finding that passion. You're still kind of on the path of finding renewal within the third eye. Still looking to make sure that you're still maybe having difficulty with decisions, or with deciding the truth about certain ideas or choices, situations. With this King of Feathers, that shows me you are moving towards that fairly quickly if you haven't already achieved it already. This halo around his head really does show me that he has come into this enlightenment aspect of himself. And then the card I pulled to clarify is crystal focus, so you can't get too much clearer than that. So let's look at the advice card. We have generosity. So I do see that not only are you able to move forward in this way of finding your own intuition and perception, of really seeing that logic in a crystal clear way, but now you also are able to offer that to others. You're able to take that knowledge and that understanding and put it forth into the world so that you impact the world in a different way. And then for the crown chakra, we have the Four of Acorns and the Tower. So this does look like a full awakening here. Holding on to that too. It looks like for a long time you've been holding on really to balancing out these chakras, balancing out this healing energy that has come forward, and you've really been holding on to the comfort and the community and the understanding of finding, the connection within yourself and within the universe, within the energies, and really opening up to that. And then we have the advice card. We have enlightenment. So this looks like a fairly amazing reading to choose as far as the path that you've been on and the advancement that you've made regarding these energies and clearing out any blockages and healing. There's been a lot of healing involved, especially with this Five of Cups here. I'm really seeing that as you're having victory over these lower three chakras. Not that obviously we don't need. Not that they're. I guess having victory over being able to clear them and move forward and really feel that energy come into the heart space. So we have an angel advice card, and we have judgment. Let go of your fear of being judged. You are good enough. It's time to unlock all that you have kept safely locked away in your heart. Your true essence and potential have been restricted by structure and method for long enough. There is no right or wrong way. Just be you. So I'm going to leave the reading there. If you would like a personal chakra balancing spread reading, you can find the information below. I also offer manifestation art and other readings and healing sessions as well. Thank you. So I'm going to move on to the clear quartz. So let's start with the lower three chakras. We have the root with the Seven of Cups and the High Priestess. So I'm seeing this as really finding your own safety and grounding within your own intuition. Still having some external circumstances or fear around external circumstances, fear of maybe judgment regarding your own choices. This card always depicts, or I always notice that there's 7 options here, and the option, you may have already made the option, but you're still kind of feeling, or made the choice, but you're still kind of feeling judgment or the fear of judgment from others. So the fear of external circumstances still may be needing to be balanced within the root. In the sacral, we have the Three of Discs, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Four of Swords. So I'm seeing this as definitely having some healing of emotions, healing of maybe some fear or some guilt regarding the past, fear of self-image issues, especially going along with this Seven of Cups, fear of judgment. And these may be like very small fears that are still just kind of lingering, and that definitely are going through a healing aspect. With the sacral chakra, we also have the kind of feeling of creativity and sexuality, and this Three of Discs kind of shows me that is in the positive light of being balanced, working towards that feeling of having community, of being able to express emotions. The Queen of Discs, again, also shows me the creativity. The Queen of Discs normally has her, life as far as and this could be a male or female. I'm just saying female because of the female depicted in the picture. But they normally have their life as far as their family life, their social life, their career life is all kind of in balance, and they feel emotions and creative towards having that those aspects of their life. Within the solar plexus, we have the Knight of Rods or the Knight of Wands, the Chariot, and the Five of Discs. So I'm seeing this as definitely having that willpower, that social self, that influence in the world with this Chariot, especially in this deck. This Chariot doesn't even have anything depicted or shown as moving it forward, but the will of the person, or the figure that's on the Chariot, and they have these, rays of light around them where they know kind of where they're going. They know they have the enlightenment of understanding what they want in life. There still may be a little bit of anxiety or issues with commitment, of really putting, of having the confidence to put yourself forward in every situation. There still may be a little bit of that with this Knight of Rods here. The Five of Disc also kind of shows me that there may be some issues with the history of situations that you're still trying to heal from, as far as having maybe the aspect that you were powerless in a certain situation in the past, or you felt powerless in a certain situation in the past. This may even be from childhood, and you're still healing those wounds. Let's look at the advice cards for the lower three chakras. We have the root card, we have divine support. The sacral, we have positive outlook. And the solar plexus, we have inner knowing. So this divine support and the high priestess definitely, go together, as far as you're following your intuition, you're following your inner knowledge, really letting go of this fear of any external circumstances or external people that may judge you or have judgments of yourself. The positive outlook is, showing me that this is definitely a situation where you are healing any kind of issues within the sacral chakra, as far as I'm still seeing this as guilt or fear, self-image, those kind of issues. There's multiple figures in this card, and that kind of does show me again that there might be some fear of others' judgments, or of maybe even your personal, maybe even family, as far as seeing you in a different light now that you have come into your own. As well as many times when we go through these healing aspects of ourselves, we change. Sometimes we have to worry, or we don't have to, but we have an issue or an ability or a tendency is the word I'm looking for, to worry about religious factors and spiritual factors, and letting people know, that we have changed as a person. So this Five of Disc, the Chariot, and the Knight of Rods, the advice card is inner knowing. So definitely going back to this root and using that energy to bring forward to the solar plexus of having that high priestess energy of really looking within yourself and realizing that these situations that may have caused you to feel powerless in the past are being healed, and they, a lot of times, those can be, if you believe in past lives, they can be past lives or childhood issues or childhood events or situations that we still, heal from. And once we do that, and when we're on this path, the belief is a lot of times that the idea of, as within, so without. So as we're healing these things on the inside, the inner knowing is that you don't have to go through these aspects or event situations again, because you've healed those wounds and you're no longer pulling those lessons to you to learn in that way. So let's look at the heart chakra. We have the Six of Shells and the Five of Shells. So that's the Six of Cups and the Five of Cups. So there's balancing regarding the past taking place, still balancing out the maybe hurt and fear from the past, afraid maybe also of some commitment issues due to situations from the past, still definitely looking forward towards hope and renewal and integration of some of these hurts or losses that have been felt. Still balancing definitely going within to balance those things out. Let's see what the advice card is. We have prosperity. So understanding that there is an abundance of hope and renewal available, and becoming aware that these things may be coming up in the now to be healed, so that readjustment can occur, so that hope can be renewed, and prosperity will continue. Let's get an advice card for the heart chakra. I'm sorry, a clarification card for the heart chakra. We have lake and stillness. So, and at the bottom of the deck, I turned over and saw life lessons. So this shows me the advice here would be to go in and meditate, to listen to your inner self, to find your inner self that's going to heal whatever wounds may still exist, whatever hurt, pain, any kind of fear of the future may still be requiring you to be guarded and keeping you from feeling this prosperity that you do definitely have. We have life lessons. You can break free from recurring negative patterns by praying to know the lessons and blessings they contain. So the heart chakra, the advice here is meditation and prayer. The throat chakra, we have 4 feathers, or 4 of wands, and 8 of crystals, or 8 of swords. So the be feeling some fear of speaking up about the progress that you've had regarding your spirituality in general, regarding where you are in life, regarding what you want for your future, regarding your personal truths. There may still be some fear of upsetting others, especially with this 4 of feathers is kind of about the home environment, where we find peace, relaxation, sanctuary. So let's see what the advice card is regarding healing this fear of speaking. And so we have energetic movement. I'm actually seeing someone doing yoga. Tai Chi is also depicted in this card. That may help to open this throat chakra. There also may be a situation that actually just kind of comes into your life where you actually, where it just kind of falls into place where you're able to voice this new change that I'm seeing that some of you are having a fear about voicing, and that will actually help to heal this fear of judgment that I'm seeing here within the root chakra. Let's get a clarifying card as well on the throat chakra. So we have fog, veiled, and crystal focus. So I'm getting that the focus that will maybe naturally kind of open up the throat chakra is to go within these lower 3 and look at the blockages here. As far as this, what I'm seeing as fear of judgment here, the healing energy or healing that's going on within the sacral chakra regarding maybe fear of self-image issues, fear of commitment, fear of what others may think of you. And then this 5 of disc showing me events. I'm seeing events where people have in the past, not necessarily recent past, but I'm seeing distant past, had really a situation where you didn't necessarily have a lot of control in that environment. And this may again be from childhood or, adolescent years. That's what I'm seeing with this crystal focus, is going back in and focusing on these 3 chakras, and that energetic movement that will move through, that energy that's going to move through these 3 chakras, is actually going to go up within the heart and the throat to kind of clear out those issues naturally, as well. So let's look at the third eye. We have the King of Acorns, or the King of Pentacles, optimism and innovation. So I see this card as a moving forward card. It's normally about stability. I see, especially with this kind of halo around his head, there's enlightenment going forward. There's always, normally the King of Pentacles is about stability within the physical. This always shows me, or I feel like it, kind of depicts an awakening to self, to inner knowledge. And then we have nurture. So continue to nurture that inner knowledge, that self, that awakening of self, and awakening of where you are regarding your healing. And then the last card we have is the Six of Feathers, transition and insight for the crown chakra. And the advice card we have is blessings, and it's 44. So I really see that the third eye and the crown have definitely signs of transcendence and healing. You've taken the time to really look at loving yourself. It's not something that you haven't been working on. I see that you have. It might not even be that you needed this reading. You probably already see those blockages that you're dealing with. It does look like you have the insight of knowing where you are with your healing and with your balancing of where you are and where you want to be. Let's look at the angel advice card. We have prayer. Dear guardian angel, help me dissolve past guilt or regret. Help me to see that all is always in perfect and divine order. Help me to let go of the fear that I project on my future. Help me to live fully within each precious moment and feel your eternal love within and around me. Help me to realize and fulfill my true potential. Thank you. So I believe I'm going to leave the reading there. If you would like a personal chakra spread, the information is in the description box below. Please like and subscribe to this video. Thank you. Let's go on to the third option, the onyx. Let's start with the root chakra. We have the Six of Disc and the Page of Disc. So the Six of Disc and the Page of Rods. So the Six of Disc is the Six of Pentacles in the traditional tarot. Page of Rods is the Page of Wands. So I'm seeing that within the sacral chakra, it does look, the 6 shows me, a balanced number. It does look like you have the understanding, the ability, the insight of having an inner knowing of being able to move forward in life the way that you see is the way that you see and the way that your outlook is in a personal way. The Six of Pentacles I see as being, understanding that you do have financial grounding and stability and safety in the physical with the Pentacles card, and then also the action to drive that or move that forward that you're taking as well. Let's look at the advice card. We have concentration. So I believe that you have worked on grounding your environment, worked on grounding your chakra. You've worked on grounding your energies. You've really been focusing on the next step of where you want to move from this achievement that you've had regarding the balance. Let's look at the sacral chakra. We have the Five of Rods or Five of Wands, the Sun card, and the Moon card. So definitely have an outburst of creativity and sexuality coming through. Maybe still having some issues of fear, of guilt. This can be external or internal. Normally the Five of Rods I see as an internal struggle regarding fear of guilt, maybe fear of not having the connection that you want within life or within situations. The Moon card is about emotions, letting those emotions of guilt and fear come to the surface so that they can be illuminated. So I'm seeing, and I think that's kind of funny that area, ironic that fell out that way, to where the two aspects that are maybe still needing to come in balance are on the opposite sides of what is actually already in balance, which is this burst of creativity, sexuality, this ability to express emotions. I always see this card as well as like inner child work that you may have actually really worked on with this concentration card in the past. And really move forward in that direction. Let's look at the advice card. We have cultivation. So really, I'm seeing the Seven of Pentacles in my head. So taking stock in what you've already done and what really brought you to this point. What modalities have you used of healing? To continue to cultivate those modalities. Continue to cultivate those whatever self aspects of self that you have grown and learned during this healing process. Let's look at the solar plexus. We have the Two of Disc and the Seven of Swords. So I still see that that there may have been situations in the past where you had anxiety regarding feeling powerless. You may have actually been powerless in order to keep from this situation or these situations from occurring. You may have had multiple situations where someone was deceptive or multiple people that were deceptive within your life. The Two of Disc I see as, in this card, it's always about decisions, but in this card it's really about not making that decision. You're letting or having this sluggish or like stuck feeling where you're going back and forth between and juggling the situation, but it's in a mental way where it's almost like a hamster wheel continues to turn, and there's difficulty regarding pulling yourself out of anxiety regarding the past or of anxiety regarding what your motive is or step is into the world. Let's get an advice or a clarifying card for the solar plexus. So we have the mountain, strength, island, solitude, and cave, sanctuary. So I'm seeing this as in order to have strength over and the strength to kind of move forward into your own power and your own social, I guess, showing that to the social environment, and the strength to move forward with the courage, or not necessarily courage, but the knowledge that you can move forward and influence the world in a positive way. We have island and cave, sanctuary. So meditation will help with this. Deep breathing within the solar plexus definitely is encouraged regarding balancing of the solar plexus. We have the sanctuary. This card talks about finding some place that is actually outside or outdoors. It may be a park. It could be your backyard. Personally, I went and bought a hammock when I was pulling this card a lot for myself. Finding that place outside where you can have inner sanctuary as well, and working on having that inner sanctuary no matter where you are within the world, and it's kind of depicted in that card. Let's look at the heart chakra. We have the 9 of rods, or the 9 of wands, and the 5 of swords. So the 9 of rods in this deck is much more about victory after having a difficult situation occur, and victory. It's almost like the 7 of wands tradition in the traditional deck, but it's even showing more about power and strength over adversity. I'd also like the fact that that card is the green aspect to it, since this is the heart chakra that we're speaking of. So I definitely see you've been working on, or you have that part of the heart chakra balanced regarding you're not necessarily afraid of having any type of commitment or afraid of compassion. You know that you have the ability to love. You know that you have the ability to integrate and to move forward with any aspect that you may be dealing with regarding clearing and healing. With this 5 of swords, I see that as still having some fear regarding commitment from others, regarding whether others are going to maybe be overbearing within their own commitments, or distrustful within commitments. Let's get a clarifying card. There's a few that popped out there. One card, please. Okay, 2. We have nurturing and busy times and multitasking. Take charge of your schedule during this busy time and honestly assess your underlying reasons for being busy. Let's look at the advice card for the solar plexus and the heart. So for the solar plexus, we have sustenance, number 7. And for the heart, we have capacity to love, number 34. So you might be seeing the synchronicity of 7-7. You have 2 7s within the solar plexus. The sustenance card kind of looks to me like she, say she because it's a female depicted in the card, but it looks to me like they are assessing the situation. They are seeing that there is more to maybe provide or offer than what they have been told that there was in the past. You may still feel some anger or resentment regarding being lied to in the past or regarding being hurt in the past, and seeing now that there was always this abundance in the universe or within energy that you were never told about. And so still dealing with or healing those, and that could be part of this heart chakra, that mental, this Five of Swords is very mental energies and information that you were told in the past. The capacity to love card kind of reinforces what I was saying about the Nine of Wands here being about strength and understanding, and knowing that even though you've been through whatever situations where someone was dishonest with you, you know that you do have this ability to love, and that you haven't closed off your heart to loving others. There may be some issues regarding feeling trust from others and trust that others will love in return, but you definitely know that you have the ability to be nurturing and to provide things that maybe weren't provided, or to provide the love that maybe wasn't provided to you in the ways that you needed in the past. So let's look at the throat chakra. We have the Eight of Wands, the Seven of Acorns, and the Three of Shells, or the Three of Cups. The Eight of Feathers is the Eight of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, and the Three of Cups. So I'm seeing this as definitely the ability to speak up for, what you want. You still may be assessing how you want to voice your truth. You still may be assessing where you want to go with that ability, that it may be newfound even, that you have regarding speaking your truth and your personal expression. It does look like you again, with this creativity that you have here in the sacral chakra, I'm seeing that's here as well, with this playfulness, being creative, in that outlet of finding your expression in the world. Let's look at the advice card. We have courage. So looking at and working towards that expression of who you are in whatever way that you want to, or you decide to express it. And having the courage to be completely uniquely you, and know that, you are loved. Let's look at the third eye. We have 10 of crystals, the King of crystals, and the 5 of acorns, or so we have the 10 of swords, the King of swords, and the 5 of pentacles. So you have this insight that is very analytical. And this King of crystals can be an air sign. I don't usually read signs into the chakra spread, but it is Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. The King of crystals is very analytical. He knows what he wants. He knows how to get it. He knows what strides and what steps to take in order to move forward in the direction that he wants. And I say he, just because it's a king depicted in the card, but it's the energy of anyone, male or female. That kind of goes back to this cultivation card, where you've already cultivated these ability to heal through the situation, have coping mechanisms is the word I was trying to look for before. You already have developed developed these coping mechanisms in order to heal, in order to move forward. You've looked at, with this cultivation, this concentration card, you've already looked at which ones of those coping mechanisms are really helping you, which ones may not be helping you. How do you move through letting those come to the surface that are not helping you, and be healed and move on, and moving towards those moving towards those things that actually are a benefit to you. This Five of Acorns, it's usually about, Five of Pentacles can be about still feeling like left out in the cold, or feeling left out in the cold. There may be some struggle with wondering what path you have now, or what path you're supposed to be taking after all of the things that you've been through. I see there may be some balancing, or some ambivalency of going back and forth, where sometimes you may be at a very clear point, with the knowledge of understanding of where you are, and then sometimes you may still be dealing with this Seven of Acorns and this Five of Acorns, really looking at where you're supposed to go from here, and what your life path is supposed to be after the things that you've dealt with. How are you going to express that into the world? How are you going to maybe use that to help to teach or just in general express your situations in the past and how you've healed from those. The advice card we have is clear your energy. So with this Five of Acorns, I'm seeing someone like doing energetic movement, not as far as like some type of activity. So I don't know if maybe taking a walk, or going to the gym, things like that might help you to clear some of the stuck or sluggish energy that you may still be holding on to, or that may still be within the chakras. Also, meditation, again, with the solar plexus, really doing those deep diaphragmatic breathing. You can find a lot of those different techniques pretty easily and available. I'm sure you've already found, if you're watching a video like this, I'm sure that you've already found things like regarding that. I think this will help you also. Clearing the energy is going to help you kind of see that path and see that direction of where you want to take this kind of newfound energy, creativity, expression that you're developing. Let's look at the crown chakra. We have Two of Feathers, Magician, and Awakening. Two of Feathers, Magician, and Awakening. The Two of Feathers, again, I think you're still working on deciding how you want to express what you, and maybe even what you want to manifest now that you've cleared out and healed through some different aspects, and it looks like maybe painful situations in the past. This Awakening card is exactly what I would want to see on the crown chakra, especially with all, these cards are, both of those, the Magician and the Awakening card, have that purple in them, within kind of depicting the color of the crown chakra. I think you've definitely decided that you're going to, obviously once you kind of start on this path, it's difficult to stop, but definitely deciding that you're going to manifest an awakening. You're going to continue the awakening process, continuing to find enlightenment, continuing to heal and cultivate this path that you're on. We have Surrender for the advice card. So I'm seeing someone in prayer, That kind of comes back to this solitude and sanctuary, using prayer as a way to let go of some of these internal conflicts and the past pain and hurt, deception that have occurred. Let's get an advice card for the crown chakra. I'm sorry, not a clarification card for the crown chakra. Ceremonies and celebrations, Emerald. It's a time of important life passages, such as wedding, birthdays, graduations, anniversaries. There may still also be some blockages regarding when I see the seven of swords. I think it's here. Yeah. When I see the Seven of Swords, I usually kind of immediately focus that on towards another person, but sometimes that can be, especially if you're continuing to think about that like over and over and over again, it can be some issues regarding situations or aspects that you created in the past, or the actions that you took in the past before you understood everything. There may still be some fear regarding that, especially also with this Five of Swords in the heart chakra. The Five of Swords in this deck really shows someone who, it's almost like the Eight of Swords in the traditional tarot, but it really shows someone who's feeling like they're being put down, hurt, and almost demeaned. But in some ways it can be that this person is doing that to themselves. So that kind of goes along with having the ability, the capacity to love others, and really working on loving of self with this busy times and multitasking. Take charge of your schedule during the busy times and honestly assess your underlying reason for being busy, and making sure that it's not that you just are judging yourself and not pushing and feeling like you need to push forward with things when you might just need to take time to have solitude and sanctuary. So we have the angel advice card as self-criticism. We, your angels ask you to please be more compassionate towards yourself. Observe the times when you have critical thoughts about you and make an effort to replace these negative thoughts with positive, loving ones. You are a wondrous being of light, even if at times you think you are less than perfect. Remember that God and divine perfection exists in all things. And then at the bottom of the angel card deck, we have forgiveness. Holding on to a past hurt is preventing you from moving forward and achieving your heart's desire. Let go. Forgiveness does not mean that you condone another's action. It simply means that you are no longer willing to be a perpetual victim in a particular person's You are no longer willing to be a perpetual victim in a particular person or event. Blame is a waste of your precious energy. Bless and surrender the past, for in doing so you will reclaim your joy of life. So I'm going to leave the reading there. If you would like a personal reading, I do offer the chakra spread reading, as well as others, and healing sessions. The information will be in the description box below. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.